Welcome to this explainer, everyone. Now, if you're already working in the digital space, you know the drill, right? You know the tactics: SEO, PPC, social media, you name it. But let's be honest, trying to keep all those moving parts perfectly aligned, it can honestly feel a bit like wrangling chaos. So today, we're going to zoom out. We're looking at a highly structured, super actionable blueprint to help you organize this whole digital ecosystem and really turn it into a continuous, unstoppable engine for business growth. Let's take a super quick look at our roadmap for today. We're going to start with a welcome to digital marketing to align on definitions. Then we'll unpack the 9 digital pillars. From there, we'll compare magnets versus megaphones, which is a really fun one, explore the power of content, and wrap it all up with the continuous growth cycle.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1. Welcome to digital marketing. Let's get our foundational definitions squared away before we open up the actual toolkit.
Okay, so defining digital marketing. We all intuitively know what it is, right? It's the use of digital channels, platforms, devices, and technologies to promote products or services to consumers. It's a massive umbrella. We're talking about everything from the search engines we use every single day to our social feeds and mobile apps. Basically, our entire digital footprint. I just want to set this baseline right out of the gate so we can clearly see how all these puzzle pieces fit together later on.
And hey, it's always fascinating to look at the historical roots here. We've got to give a quick, respectful nod to Philip Kotler, widely known as the father of digital marketing. He reminds us of a really crucial point. While our tech is evolving at just breakneck speed, the foundational principles of understanding your consumer and actually delivering value to them, those rarely change.
Building right on top of that, we have Chaffee's 5S model. I absolutely love this because it perfectly crystallizes our digital communication objectives into what we call the rule of 5. You want to sell to drive that revenue. You want to speak to improve your customer dialogue. Serve to elevate your online support. Save to actually reduce traditional media costs. And finally, add a little sizzle to elevate your brand awareness. Really, every single digital action we take should map directly back to at least one of these 5 buckets.
Okay, with our objectives clearly set, let's move into Section 2, the 9 digital pillars. It's time to actually open up that digital toolkit. So here is our digital toolkit, neatly categorized into 3 distinct buckets. First up, search. That's giving us our organic and paid visibility. Then we've got content and social, which is where we build trust and really leverage those external voices. And finally, direct and analytics. This handles our high ROI direct communications and, crucially, the web data we desperately need to iterate. Now, the major takeaway here is to not look at these as isolated silos. They are one unified ecosystem. Which brings us to Section 3, magnets versus megaphones. We've got the tools, sure, but how do we actually deploy them out in the wild?
Honestly, it all really boils down to 2 main strategic approaches for customer acquisition. Over on the left, we have inbound marketing, the magnet. This is your organic, trust-building, long-term game. On the right, outbound marketing, the megaphone. This is the more traditional, paid, interruptive route that you use to grab attention for short-term goals. Simply put, one naturally pulls people in, while the other broadly broadcasts a message out.
Let's look a little closer at our magnet, our inbound marketing. The entire focus here is on solving your customers' problems. Whether you're using SEO, engaging on social media, or sending out value-driven emails, you are providing genuine solutions. And by doing that, you organically pull visitors right down the funnel. You turn leads into customers and eventually into vocal promoters of your brand. Plus, once you build up that momentum, it is incredibly cost-effective.
Conversely, let's look at our megaphone, outbound marketing. This relies heavily on paid ads like Google or display ads, cold calling, telemarketing, direct mail, you know the drill. And yeah, it's definitely interruptive. But you know what else it is? It is incredibly efficient. If you need to quickly generate leads from a highly defined target audience to hit a short-term goal, the megaphone is absolutely what drives immediate results.
All right, Section 4, the power of content. This is the absolutely crucial element that acts as a bridge between the magnet and the megaphone across all your digital efforts.
Think about it. Content marketing informs, educates, or entertains, all while delicately promoting your brand in the background. It takes so many forms. You've got blogging to address pain points and boost your SEO. Video marketing, which is absolutely perfect for visual learners. Infographics to make complex data super shareable. And of course, ebooks and white papers to really demonstrate your industry expertise. At the end of the day, content is literally what fuels the rest of your digital engine.
To really ground this in reality, just look at these 2 completely contrasting examples.
On one hand, you have Canva. They're a highly creative B2C brand, and they use a design school ebook to teach non-designers. It's brilliant because it seamlessly promotes their software in the process. On the completely opposite end of the spectrum, you have Microsoft Azure using a highly technical cloud adoption framework white paper to educate IT managers and C-suite executives. It just perfectly shows how incredibly versatile content can be across totally different industries.
Moving on to Section 5, the continuous growth cycle. We've covered the tools and the strategies. Now let's pull back for the macro view to see how this entire digital ecosystem actually sustains itself. Let's ask the big question. Why is this specific digital ecosystem so absolutely critical today? Well, for one, it completely shatters geographical barriers and gives you global exposure, while maintaining incredible cost-effectiveness compared to traditional media. But honestly, the real superpower here is the data. You get highly targeted audience engagement and truly measurable results. If a campaign isn't working, you don't just sit there. You have the total flexibility to pivot instantly based on those data-driven insights.
And this leads us to our capstone concept. Digital marketing is not a straight line, okay? It is a continuous loop. You start with market sensing to really understand your audience, which then directly shapes your product realization. That naturally flows right into customer acquisition, using those magnets and megaphones we talked about, followed by seamless order processing. Finally, your customer relationship management feeds right back into understanding your market better for the very next loop. It is a massive, ongoing engine.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer today. But I want to leave you with a question to help you audit your own digital presence right now. Take a hard look at your current ecosystem. Is your brand actively using a magnet to build that essential long-term trust, or are you just shouting into a megaphone? Finding that perfect balance is the absolute key to keeping your growth cycle spinning. Thanks for joining me.